Most people spend their lives trapped beneath a mountain of biological clutter. They collect useless degrees, hollow friendships, and cheap dopamine hits until they are lost under the weight of their own mediocrity. They think that adding more things will eventually lead to success. But that is the ultimate lie of the system, designed to keep you heavy, slow, and easy to manage. The 1% elite do not think about what to add, they think about what to amputate. They are the cold-blooded editors of their own reality. When Michelangelo was asked how he created his masterpiece, David, he simply said, "I saw the angel in the marble and carved until I set him free." He didn't add anything. He broke away everything that wasn't divine. Your life is no different. Inside you, an architect is waiting to build an empire, but he is currently restricted by the average version of yourself, a parasite you feed every single day. I once knew a man who looked like the definition of success. He wore $3,000 suits and carried the latest tech, but he was a gilded captive. Every move he made was dictated by bank debt and the desperate need for social validation. He looked superior to the crowd, but in reality, he was just wearing a more expensive set of chains. Niccolo Machiavelli warned us, "He who seeks to be loved by everyone will eventually be failed by those he tried to please." Real power is the ability to say no. While the masses are running around saying yes to every distraction, diluting their energy like water in the sand, the elite are focused. They are the wolves in a world full of sheep. Today, we execute the 7 amputations. This is not a lecture. It is a protocol to neutralize the mediocre version of you. Prepare yourself. This surgery will be performed with total precision. Amputation 1. The Illusion of Busywork. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They avoid being alone with their thoughts because in that stillness, they might realize they are staying stagnant. To escape this, they embrace busywork. They fill their calendars with meetings that could have been emails, spend hours perfecting spreadsheets no one will ever read, and pride themselves on staying at the office until the lights go out. Look at the crowd around you. They are like hamsters on a wheel, running faster and faster, sweating, panting, and exhausted. Yet the wheel is bolted to the floor. They are not advancing. They are merely vibrating in place. This is the illusion of busywork. It is a clever trap designed to make a distracted mind feel productive while it remains frozen. The 1% elite understand a cold truth. Movement is not progress. I remember watching a colleague of mine years ago. He was the first one in and the last one to leave. He answered every notification within seconds. He looked like a warrior of productivity. But at the end of the year, his status hadn't moved and his influence had vanished. He was busy being a servant to other people's priorities. He was a high-performance engine running in neutral. While he was polishing the hull of a sinking ship, the architects were building an entirely new fleet. In physics, there is a concept called work. Work is only done when a force moves an object a certain distance. If you push against a brick wall with all your strength for 10 hours, you have exerted massive energy, but you have done 0 work. The wall didn't move. The masses spend their lives pushing against brick walls, hoping for a reward that will never come. As Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The elite do not work for the sake of working. They look for leverage. They would rather spend 10 hours thinking of a way to move a mountain in 1 minute than spend 10 years trying to move it 1 pebble at a time. Ask yourself, are you truly building something, or are you just afraid to stop moving? If you stopped your busy tasks today, would your empire collapse, or would the world simply not notice? If the answer is the latter, you are not a leader. You are captured by the illusion. You are at a disadvantage compared to those who have the courage to sit still and wait for the one move that actually matters. Stop running on the wheel. Amputate the noise. If it doesn't move the needle, it is a distraction designed to keep you weak. Amputation 2. Sunk cost addiction. The most dangerous weight in your life isn't a physical burden. It is the weight of the resources you've already wasted. This is sunk cost addiction. It is the psychological anchor that keeps the masses stuck in the fading echoes of the past, while the elite sail toward the future. Have you ever seen someone stay in a draining partnership or a dead-end job just because they've already put 5 years into it? They are not staying because of growth or vision. They are staying because they are terrified of admitting they were wrong. They would rather waste another 5 years than face the reality of an unprofitable past. This is the hallmark of a static mind. They view their past mistakes as an investment, whereas the architect views them as a broken path that must be abandoned immediately. In the world of the 1% elite, we do not care about what we have already lost. We only care about the next move. Think of it like a professional strategist. The average person loses a significant amount and stays in the game, desperately trying to win it back. They are attached to the capital that is already gone. The professional, however, looks at the remaining assets and asks, what is the best way to use these? If the current system is broken, the professional walks away. The amateur stays until they are depleted, clinging to a hope that has already expired. Machiavelli understood that a leader must be flexible. He wrote that a prince who cannot adapt to the changing times will surely fall. Sunk cost. Addiction makes you rigid. It makes you a captive of your own history. I once consulted for a business owner who had spent hundreds of thousands on an obsolete technology. Even though the market had moved on, he kept pouring money into it. He told me, "I can't stop now, I've invested too much." I told him, you aren't investing anymore. You are paying a heavy price just to keep a failed project on life support. He was choosing a comfortable lie over a profitable truth. The crowd is obsessed with finishing what they started, even if what they started is a disaster. They are at a disadvantage because they prioritize ego over efficiency. They want to look consistent to their neighbors, while the elite are happy to look inconsistent if it means moving toward a win. Amputate your loyalty to your mistakes. If the ship is taking on water, don't try to save it with a silver spoon just because the spoon was expensive. Step off, move, build a better ship. The past is a memory. Do not make it your prison. Amputation 3, the dopamine trap. Most people are controlled by a chemical leash. They are not independent thinkers, they are biological machines reacting to the next spark of pleasure. This is the dopamine trap. It is the invisible cage where the masses trade their future empires for a few seconds of artificial satisfaction. The world is divided into 2 groups, those who consume the present and those who own the future. The average person wakes up and immediately reaches for their phone. They need the notification, the like, the infinite scroll. They are starving for immediate gratification. Because they cannot control their impulses, they are forever destined to be directed by those who can. The 1% elite operate on a different frequency: delayed gratification. We do not want the crumb today, we want the entire bakery tomorrow. I remember talking to a young creator who was frustrated because his first 3 videos didn't go viral. He said, "I'm working so hard, where is my reward?" I realized he wasn't a builder, he was a gambler. He wanted the hit without the system. He was a captive of the moment. He is exactly where the system wants him: discouraged, distracted, and easily replaced. In the 16th century, Machiavelli noted that a ruler must avoid being fickle or shallow if he wishes to maintain his state. The dopamine trap is the ultimate engine of shallowness. It lures you in with the smell of easy victory, only to leave you hollow. Think of your focus as strategic capital. Every time you check a mindless notification or indulge in a useless habit, you are spending your wealth on trash. While the crowd is busy wasting their mental reserves on short-term thrills, the architect is investing. We endure the silence and the lack of applause today because we know that true dominance is built in the dark. The crowd is at a disadvantage because they are predictable. If you can control a man's pleasure, you can control the man. The elite are unpredictable because their rewards are internal and distant. They don't need the world to clap for them today. because they are busy buying the stage everyone will stand on tomorrow. Amputate the need for now. If a pleasure didn't require effort, it is a toxin disguised as a treat. Choose the weight of discipline over the emptiness of a hollow life. One leads to a kingdom, the other leads to the void of forgotten potential. Amputation 4. The mental ceiling. Every structure has a limit, and so does every person. But while a building's limit is physical, yours is purely psychological. This is the mental ceiling. It is the invisible barrier you've built over your own head, and as long as it remains, you will never see the stars, only the reflection of your own limits. The average person is born into a box of common sense. They believe that certain amounts of wealth are too much for them, or that certain levels of influence are only for others. They look at the elite and think they must be lucky because admitting the truth is too difficult. The truth is that the elite simply removed their limits while the masses were busy decorating theirs. These people are not just restricted, they are internally blocked. In the world of the 1% elite, we view beliefs as operating software. If the software is outdated, the system crashes. I once met a talented developer who refused to start his own firm because he wasn't a businessman. He had the skill, the network, and the opportunity, but his internal code told him he was just a component in someone else's machine. He chose a passive existence because he was afraid to uninstall the identity his environment gave him. He remained at a disadvantage not because of his bank account, but because of his internal boundaries. Machiavelli noted that most men are so blinded by their own perspective that they cannot see the reality of power. Most people flatter themselves with small goals. They tell themselves they are realistic when they are actually just small-minded. They compare themselves to their neighbors to feel satisfied, instead of comparing themselves to their potential to see how much they are missing. The mental ceiling is like a regulator on a high-performance engine. It limits the speed to 60 miles per hour even if the engine is capable of 200. The masses are running at 10% capacity, convinced that 11% is impossible. The architect, however, views every limit as a temporary glitch to be fixed. We don't ask, is it possible? We ask, what is the cost? If you want to reach the 1%, you must amputate your realistic expectations. Stop identifying with your past and start identifying with your future capacity. The world will try to pull you back down to the average level because your growth makes their stagnation look obvious. Let them watch from below. Remove the barrier. If your beliefs don't make you feel powerful, they are not your beliefs. They are your legacy filters. Amputate the smallness. In the architecture of power, there is no room for a ceiling. Amputation 5. The execution lag. The distance between your vision and your reality has a name. It's called the execution lag. In the world of the masses, they call it procrastination. They joke about the snooze button and waiting for the right time. But in the world of the 1% elite, this is not a joke. It is a critical system failure. Every second you wait between thinking of an action and performing it is a leak in your power. The longer the lag, the weaker the position. Most people live in a state of permanent hesitation. They are like a computer trying to run a heavy program with a broken processor, spinning, heating up, but producing zero results. They say, I'll start on Monday, or I need more information. They are not preparing. They are hiding. They are at a disadvantage because they allow their emotions, fear, comfort, or doubt, to act as a middleman between their brain and their hands. The architect operates with zero lag. When a command is issued, execution is immediate. I remember a mentor once told me, the person who acts in 60 seconds will always outperform the person who acts in 60 days. Even if the fast person makes a mistake, they have 59 days to fix it while the slow person is still putting on their shoes. Speed is the ultimate dominant advantage. While the crowd is busy debating the weather, the elite have already occupied the high ground. Think of it as signal interference. When you decide to move, the signal is clear. But as you wait, the system injects noise. Social media, snacks, one more distraction. Soon, the signal is lost. You become a spectator in your own life. Your competitors are not necessarily smarter than you. They are simply faster than you. They have deleted the gap between idea and reality. Life is a constant state of competition. Every time you hit the snooze on your life, you are signaling to the universe that you are a pawn, not a player. You are telling the world that your comfort is more important than your legacy. While others are sleeping in, the elite are already 2 moves ahead. While others are planning, the architects are already reviewing their results. Amputate the middleman. Amputate the hesitation. If you want to join the 1%, you must treat your snooze button like a direct threat to your future. Delete the lag. Transform your mind into a high-speed processor where thought and action are the same thing. In the architecture of power, slow motion is the same as standing still, and those who stand still are eventually stepped over by those who move. Amputation 6. The victim script. In the basement of the social hierarchy, there is a language everyone speaks fluently. It is the language of excuses. I call it the victim script. It is a pre-written program that allows people to fail comfortably. They blame the economy, they blame their upbringing, they blame the algorithm or their boss. By pointing the finger outward, they surrender their power to the world. They feel safe in their misery because, in their minds, none of it is their fault. The 1% elite view this mindset as a biological virus. If you let it into your system, it will eat your ambition from the inside out. The average person loves to be a victim because it is the ultimate get out of jail free card. It requires 0 effort to complain, but it takes immense strength to take ownership. They are inferior, not because of their lack of money, but because of their lack of accountability. While they are busy writing their tragic stories, the elite are busy writing checks and building systems. I remember a guy I used to work with who was constantly passed over for promotions. Every Friday, he would sit at the bar and explain exactly why the system was rigged against him. He had a million reasons, and every single one of them made him look like a helpless leaf in the wind. He was addicted to the sympathy of other losers. I realized then that he didn't want a promotion. He wanted an audience for his failure. He was a voluntary captive. He chose the comfort of a sad story over the harsh reality of try harder. Machiavelli taught that fortune is a woman, and if you wish to master her, you must conquer her with force. You cannot conquer anything if you believe the world is happening to you. You must believe the world is happening because of you. Even when things go wrong, even when the market crashes or a partner betrays you, the architect asks, how did I allow this to happen and how do I fix it? Think of your life as a user interface. The masses use the guest account. They have no admin privileges and can only watch what happens. The elite have the admin code. We take total responsibility for everything, including the things we didn't start. By taking responsibility, you gain the rights to change the outcome. One man cries about the rain, the other man sells umbrellas. One is a pawn of the weather, the other is the master of the market. Amputate the excuses. Amputate the need for sympathy. If you want to be superior, you must stop being a character in someone else's play and start being the director of your own. In the architecture of power, there is no room for victims, only for architects of consequence. Amputation 7. Lifestyle inflation. Most people are building their own barriers, one luxury brick at a time. As soon as they earn a little more, they spend a little more. They upgrade their car, move to a better neighborhood, and start eating at places they couldn't afford a year ago. They call this leveling up. The 1% elite call it the Gilded Cage. It is a sophisticated trap designed to keep you working until the day you retire, just to maintain a lifestyle you don't even enjoy. The masses are obsessed with the appearance of power rather than power itself. They want to look superior to their neighbors, so they buy things they don't need with resources they don't truly have. They are at a disadvantage because their expenses rise exactly at the same rate as their income. They are like a boat that gets a bigger engine but carries 10 times the weight. They are burning more fuel just to stay at the same speed. I once knew an executive who earned $500,000 a year. On paper, he was in the top tier. But because of his massive mortgage, exotic car leases and private club fees, his net savings were almost zero. If he lost his position, he would be in a crisis in 60 days. He wasn't a wealthy man. He was just a high-income wanderer. He was hesitant about what people would think if he drove an older car. He was a captive of his own vanity. While he was busy looking successful, the true architects were busy becoming unbreakable. Machiavelli noted that a wise leader must avoid being dependent on others. Lifestyle inflation is the ultimate form of dependency. When you inflate your life, you give the external world a leash to pull. You lose the ability to walk away. You lose the ability to take risks. You become a yes man because your lifestyle requires a constant stream of cash to survive. Think of it as structural integrity. The masses have a hollow structure, shiny on the outside, but fragile on the inside. The elite build a solid core first. We live far below our means so that our resources can be used as strategic leverage. We don't buy the toy. We buy the system that makes the toy. One person buys a watch to show they have arrived. The other person buys time so they can go wherever they want. One is a servant to their possessions, the other is the master of their freedom. Amputate the need for status symbols. Amputate the desire to impress people who don't matter. If you want to be superior, you must value equity over ego. Build your empire in silence and let the masses keep their shiny cages. In the architecture of power, true strength is found in what you control, not in what you show. We have completed the refinement. We have removed the busy work, the addiction to the past, the cheap dopamine, and the hollow status symbols. What remains is not a nicer version of you. It is the raw, functional core of a leader. Most people will watch this and feel a momentary spark, only to return to their gilded cages by tomorrow morning. They will choose the comfort of the crowd over the cold reality of the peak. But you are not most people. If you have listened this far, you have already signaled that you find an average existence unacceptable. You understand that being superior isn't about looking down on others. It's about refusing to be dragged down by them. It is about maintaining your structural integrity in a world designed to make you collapse. Machiavelli wrote about the importance of being respected over being liked. In your life, this means your goals must respect your discipline. Your excuses must be neutralized by your accountability. When you remove the noise, you become a focused force. You stop being a component in the system and start becoming the architect of the system. Look at the world one last time. See the masses running on their wheels, chasing shadows, and begging for validation. Then, look at the blank blueprint in front of you. You now have the clarity and the speed to build whatever you desire. The only question left is, do you have the discipline to remain focused until your empire is finished? The 1% is quiet for a reason. It is where the air is thin and the view is infinite. Remove the rest. Build the best.